Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be doing something just a little bit different on this channel. We're going to go over the top 10 best Warzone loadouts for Rebirth Island right now. First, we're going to be hitting the top 5 SMGs. Then we're going to go and flip over and do the top 5 ARs, my favorite build for each of the guns, and most importantly, why I believe each gun belongs on this list. Before we do so, quick shout out to the Noti gang from last video. You guys are goated as always. Now, kicking it off with my SMG number 5, we of course got to start with the MP40. Yes, the MP40 is still viable. It's still one of the best SMGs in the game after all of this time. The MP40 is just a great all-around SMG. I wouldn't say it's amazing at any one thing. Decent range, great mobility, it hits pretty hard, you got a 45 round mag, it's got a lot going for it. Every time I go back to the MP40, it feels like I never stop using this gun. That's simply how easy it is to run. Now, unfortunately, next up, the Owen Gun is still one of the best SMGs in the game. I got it at number 4 on my list. It feels like the Owen Gun has simply dominated Warzone for so long at this point. I wouldn't say it's the best SMG right now. That's why I have it at number 4, but it's definitely still viable. Now, of course, the main reason why the Owen Gun is so good and has been so good for so long is that 72 round mag. It makes it perfect for trios or quads. It almost feels like you never run out of ammunition. Now, of course, it has a lot of other stuff going for it. I'm just saying the main draw is that magazine size. It still has good mobility, it still has good range, still easy to control, and the fire rate's pretty damn good as well. Eventually, this gun's no longer going to be viable, but I'm not sure when it's going to be at this point. Now, checking in at number 3, I got the Welgun. This has been one of my favorite SMGs for so long. It's one of the easiest SMGs to use in the game, and it's one of the most solid options if you need something to use right now. Now, my favorite part about the Welgun is simply just how easy it is to use this gun. You can go weeks without touching it, pick it up, and it feels like you never stopped. Most of us have used the ground loot Welgun a lot recently, and it's still one of the most solid ground loot guns in the game as well. Now, one of the biggest draws to the Welgun is simply the range that this gun has. It's easy to control in those medium range engagements, which makes it a very versatile secondary weapon. If someone asked me what the best sniper support gun in the game is, I'd probably go with the Welgun right now. Of course, one of the downsides is it only has a 40 round mag, but what I will say is those 40 rounds feel like they last forever. Even though it has good fire rate, it doesn't feel like you're burning ammunition very quickly. This gun is still very good in trios, it's still very good in quads, and it's perfect for Rebirth solos. Now, checking in at number 2 on my list is the Sten. If you guys keep up with my streams and my content, you know I've absolutely been loving this SMG. For Rebirth Island solos, this one might be the best overall option for a secondary gun. The mobility for this gun is absolutely off the charts, and that is the main draw for me. It literally feels like you are gliding around the map using this thing. I don't think there's another gun in the game that moves as quick as the Sten. Now, of course, the major downside is that 36 round mag. What I will say is it doesn't go as quickly as you think, but this gun is not as viable for trios or quads simply because you don't have enough ammunition. Aside from that, this gun does a lot of damage. It has a lot better range than what you think. It's very easy to control. It really is a great all-around SMG. And if you don't believe me, check out my videos from the last couple weeks. We literally dropped back to back to back. Yes, the triple 30 bomb using this SMG primarily for Rebirth Island solos. Now, if you do still want to use this SMG for trios or quads on Rebirth Island, which I do still think is a good idea, I highly recommend changing that acrobatic perk for sleight of hand just to help with that small magazine size. Now, checking in at number 1 for my SMG list is the Armadillo 43. There's really no argument here. The Armaguerra is by far the most well-rounded SMG in the game right now. It has insane range. It has insane mobility. It is insanely easy to control. And to top it all off, you have a 60 round mag, which is more than most of the Vanguard SMGs in the game. Even with a very fast fire rate, the mag lasts quite a while, making this a very good gun for trios or quads, and it looks to be the top pro option for Warzone. Now, with all of those things coming together, this gun simply kills faster than any other SMG right now in the game. I don't think it gets outshot by anything. The only downside is trying to unlock this gun if you don't have it already. That can take a little while, but if you haven't already, then you might want to put in the time. Simply put, this gun is the best SMG in all of Warzone right now and is perfect for Rebirth Island. You need to be running this thing if you want to get as many kills kills as you possibly can. Now, the last thing I want to mention here, which is crazy to me, you can actually run the vital perk on this SMG as you see here, which increases the damage even more, further separating it from the other SMGs in the game. Now, switching on over into the ARs, checking in at number 5 for me is the XM4 rifle from Cold War. Now, they've tried to nerf this thing about 5 or 6 times over the past 6 months, but for some reason, after every nerf, it honestly feels like it got just a little bit better. Now, it's got great range, but the real kicker here is the amount of damage output that this thing has. In comparison to some Vanguard weapons, the XM4 simply outshoots if you're able to hit your shots and control the recoil. Now, in saying that, the recoil is not as easy to control as some of the other options on the list. Simply put, Cold War ARs have a lot more recoil than the Vanguard ARs. Even with the Vanguard ARs on top right now, I still see a lot of pros and higher level players rocking the XM4, not only on Rebirth Island, but also on Caldera, cementing this gun as a top 5 AR right now. Now, checking in at number 4 for me is the Automaton from Vanguard. Now, the Automaton has been one of my favorite Vanguard ARs since the game dropped, and the major kicker to this AR is the 75 round drum mag that this thing has. It literally feels like you have an unlimited magazine at certain times, and the reload speed for the magazine is equivalent to some of the other 60, 50, and 45 round mags that the other Vanguard ARs have. Now, on top of that, it has a lot of range, the recoil control is pretty easy, and the mobility really isn't too shabby for what the gun is. Now, if someone came into my stream today and said, hey Cam, give me an AR to use right now, I'm not very good at controlling recoil, I'm not the best player, the Automaton might be my top choice. Simply put, that 75 round mag is huge. It gives you a lot of room to miss some shots if you do. The recoil control, like I said earlier, is pretty easy to use even for novice players. This is one gun that I highly recommend. Now, kicking it on over to number 3 on the list, we have the Cooper Carbine from Vanguard. This gun has seemingly been one of the best ARs since Vanguard dropped and got integrated into Warzone, and it's still one of the top options right now, especially after a recent buff kind of put this thing back to the top. Now, the major positive to this gun in particular is the recoil control might be the easiest in the game right now. At long range engagements, it literally feels like the Cooper Carbine does not move. Now, on top of the easy to control recoil, this gun has a very fast fire rate, again making it very forgiving if you are missing shots. Now, the one downside to the Cooper Carbine is it doesn't do as much damage per bullet as a lot of the other ARs, so while it is very forgiving, that 60 round mag goes by very quick in certain situations. Now, because of that, it's not going to be your best AR option for trios or quads, but if you play a lot of solos, the Cooper Carbine might actually be your top option right now. All in all, you simply can't go wrong with this gun just because it is so easy to use. Now, coming in at number 2, we got the STG assault rifle from Vanguard. The STG is the damage king when it comes to Vanguard ARs. It's not as easy to use as the Cooper Carbine or the Automaton. It does have a little bit more recoil, especially with this build, but the amount of damage it puts out more than makes up for that. Now, the secret sauce for the STG for me is putting a recoil booster on this thing over the MX silencer. Yes, it's going to increase the recoil just a little bit, so if you can't handle that, put the MX silencer back on, but if you can handle that, I highly recommend it. Simply put, the recoil booster is going to increase the fire rate, making the time to kill on this gun even better. Now, all in all, the STG isn't the easiest AR to use right now, but with this build behind me, it puts a lot of damage on the table, and I highly recommend giving this thing a go. If you're very good at controlling recoil, it's going to be one of your best options for Rebirth Island. Now, last but not least, checking in at number 1 on the AR list, we have the NZ-41, a little bit of a surprise. This gun recently got hit with a massive buff, literally like 2 or 3 days ago, pushing this gun all the way to the top of the AR category. Now, simply put, the NZ-41 is absolutely broken right now. It has everything you want in an assault rifle. Now, in my opinion, this thing's likely going to get hit with a nerf within the next week or 2 from Raven Software, but until then, you got to give this gun a go. The recoil itself is super easy to control. It's no longer bouncy like it used to be. And on top of that, the damage output is absolutely crazy with how easy the recoil is to control. The key to this gun for me, again, is that recoil booster, but it's also that burst barrel. Now, you guys are probably saying, we got to run this thing as a burst gun. No, whenever you get it out of your loadout or you pick it off the ground, you simply switch it from burst to fully automatic and you're good to go. All in all, the NZ-41 right now is king of Rebirth Island when it comes to ARs, and if you're not using this gun, you're going to be behind the curve in a couple of days. Now that's all I have for you guys today, man. I hope this video greatly helps you out. People are always asking me all the time, Cam, what are your favorite ARs? What are your favorite SMGs? So I thought I'd put it all together in one quick YouTube video. Thank you guys so much for watching the video today. It means a lot if you made it to this point. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a sub if you're not. Make sure post notifications are turned on, and I'll see you guys next time.